It's not okay with this.
In previous parts,
Special tool or be disassembled. So type of a coolant and camshaft moment of this cylinder 4 with assembling looking like nothing difficult. Left, right, push.
install valve seals in
The gasket, cylinder head. Let's throw them down. First, all other bolts. So, add some oil, assembly everything else. So, none of this crap gets into the engines.
I don't know, this is not about summertime in the city.
Well, you can remove turbo, but can you install it back in place? Yep, you can, easily. Just don't forget to install gaskets.
It's a bad here, they still stepped outside. Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. We getting the call right now. We gonna decline the call.
Some tightening torques of the turbocharger elements and tightening sequence. Well, without EGR cooler, you can install and tie bolts of the mount bracket for emission control module, and you can do this even from the top. And also you can easily tie this bolt that mounts turbo to the bracket of the DPF. And it's easy to tie this bolt before you install and torque down the outlet pipe of the turbo. So you pry bar where the gearbox is and then insert bolt.
Right now, I said I just wanna vibe.
Will be looking like just like that. And now you can try to install EGR cooler back in place, and without this small mount bracket it will be much more easier. As you can see, securing bolt in place, remove small bracket, and push it up. Up. Couple of twists. And it's better to connect wires to the valve of the EGR cooler right away before engage EGR cooler with DPF, because after you attach EGR cooler to the DPF, it may be difficult to connect that connector. And just don't forget, install outlet pipe and inlet pipe just right before you put EGR cooler in place. And all this time this DPF or emission control module will be in this position for installation of the EGR cooler. It's not that bolt. And when you install EGR cooler, don't rush to torque down one clamp at one time. I mean, you install every clamp, every mount bracket, everything in place, and then only you can tight clamps, so it will be in right position and not causing any leaks of the gases or anything else.
or you can follow these steps of the workshop manual to install emission control module.
First I will install this clamp between DPF and EGR cooler. Install but not tight, just keep it loosened. Don't forget to remove this bolt before installation of the clamps. You need to install also small mount bracket. Just tight it slightly and it's the place where you need to mount another bolt. Screw in. Then you rotate the jar cooler, install hose, and then maybe you will be lucky enough to install also DPF to the turbo. And just make sure that you fit it and mount bracket over there. And then install clamp between turbo and DPF. I will try to install it like it was, in this direction. Rotate and secure, but don't tight yet. And of course it's T30, and these bolts of the jar cooler are slightly tightened. Install bolts of the DPF, but don't tighten them. And also these bolts in place where you need to install it is adjustable. On outside, these compensation elements have left-hand treat. Turn clockwise to move in this direction and anti-clockwise in this direction, closer to the mount bracket. Will be clockwise and further. So first you install but not tight following clamps. Clamp between the jar cooler and DPF, clamp between DPF and turbo, and clamp between DPF and exhaust pipe. And then you tie them all the way. Clamp of the turbo and DPF on top. Then tighten all the way. Clamp between EGR cooler and DPF. Then clamp between DPF and exhaust pipe. And also one compensation element is on the cylinder heads to reduce distance between this element and mount bracket of the emission control module. And when you tight all clamps, you can now tight bolts of all of the mount brackets. Those two bolts, those two, and also these two, and all those pipes, hoses. Install this shield, valve cover back in place, tighten torque and sequence of the valve cover, and you need to pay attention to the numbers that are on the gaskets and sealing of the valve cover, because these sealings have different numbers and different sizes for different engines, of course. And for this engine, they have those numbers. And valve cover gasket have this number and this kind of shape. And maybe you will need, this is the numbers of these sealings for other engines. And as you can see, injector oil seal have different size. And also valve cover gasket may have this kind of shape. So don't rush to throw away all these gaskets and sealings. Check the numbers first. Small back cover of the timing belts. Apply thread locker on the bolts and torque it down. New gasket. Now intake manifold. Some tightening torque of the intake manifold and mount brackets and sequence of tightening.
Differences when tightening intake manifold.
And you can easily tighten the bolts if you put hand like this. EGR valve. Now throttle body. Make sure that wiring harness is in place before you install throttle body, because there will be not enough space between EGR and this motor. Tight slightly lower bolt of the throttle body, then tight these bolts of the throttle body, these 4 bolts, 8 Nm, and only then tight this bolt all the way. Plastic hose of the turbo in place. Connectors connected, and now this pipe charger. Air charged pipe. So all of the glow plugs have 4 and 4 voltage. So don't check them on the battery, because you will burn them.
Glow plugs installation.
3 of them are 17 Nm. And 12 sockets and 12 Nm to torque down this with pressure sensor. Have this screwdriver, this kind,
Installation of the injectors.
and then spray it with brake cleaner. Because if you spray it inside of the chamber, you will have a small detonation when you start the engine. You can also use this tool, this kind of tool, to recut seats of the injectors, but use it only if the seats are in really bad shape, if really something bad is going on. If they are clean and no problems with that chamber, clean them in this way and you will be good. So washers are from one side a little bit rounded, and I usually install this rounded side. And I like to install these washers first into the injector bores, because if you install them on the injectors, sometimes they can fall off from the nozzle of the injector and straight into the places where you don't want them to fall. So you take screwdriver, put inside of this hole and drop washer inside. And on this engine, it won't make any difference which side you choose to install these copper washers, because usually they are burning out on the inner circle side. And it looks like that from the factory these couple washers were installed this flat side to the chamber, so maybe you should do the same. Make sure that everything is cleaned. So some people are complaining that when they replace injector sealing they still have leaks, so maybe to avoid that thing you can apply some sealant, and this place it's about 7 millimeter. It's 7 millimeters to this place, and you apply sealant over here. It will be looking like that, and maybe then you will not have oil leak. And maybe people that still have leaks after replacement of the oil seals for the injectors just choose wrong oil seals with wrong part number, or maybe it's because of the failing PCV valve. Who knows, maybe. Lubricate a little bit. First install. And then with clamp in piece, install second. Make sure that they are on the same level. You also can degrease and apply sealant in the place where it touches the sealing in the valve cover, maybe to avoid some leaks. This is the place, and it's about something this way. Most of the sealant will stay outside anyway, and you can clean pipes with brake cleaner and fresh air. And before you tighten these bolts of the injector clamps, install high pressure pipes on the injectors and common rail tube and tighten them slightly by hand. You need to do this so the pipe will sit in its initial place and it will be centered a little bit more. And when you tighten nuts on the common rail tube, maybe you want to check how it looks like on the injector, so you will know it is still centered. And by doing so, you will prevent any leaks of the fuel from this connection. Then only tighten those bolts of the injector clamps. And then tighten nuts of high pressure pipes and
some tightening torques of the common rail system elements
right into the spot where it was.
Injector seal numbers.
And set up everything else. Every connector.
Overview of the connector mounting locations on the engine.
And side sensor. Now glow plugs. Doesn't click. No, it clicks. So maybe use some pliers to click it back. Then with pressure sensor. Water pump. A pressure sensor on the fuel rail. Injectors. If you cut zip tie the wiring and do not buy a new one, you just detach this part, cut this part, and then attach zip tie. Simple as that.
Right now, I said I just wanna vibe.